Now let's talk about how India and Vietnam have strengthened their strategic ties today with a plan of action as well for the coming years. We've got to talk about it with us Sanjay Bhattacharya, former secretary in India's Ministry of External Affairs. Good evening to you, Ambassador Bhattacharya. What do you make of what's happened between India and Vietnam today with that visit of the Vietnamese Prime Minister?
Well, to my mind, the relationship that India has with Vietnam has always been rather special, not only from the bilateral context, but also from the context of our partnership with the ASEAN countries, and today more so in the context of the Indo-Pacific. India and Vietnam have always had a very special relationship, which was extended to a comprehensive strategic partnership in 2016 during the visit of Prime Minister Modi there. What we saw happen this time was that they have given concrete shape in terms of an action plan for 2024 to 28. And of course, it kind of embraces a number of memoranda of understanding that have been concluded, ranging from collaboration in extension of lines of credit, capacity building, judicial cooperation, and also preservation of historical sites, agricultural cooperation, and so on. But I think also what is very important in this context is the kind of defense cooperation that is thought to be further expanded and extended. We already have a very strong relationship. So as we look at the geopolitics of the region, the kind of instability that there is today in the South China Sea, also known as the East Sea by the Vietnamese, and the kind of tensions that are abound in that region, Prime Minister's call for development rather than expansion is a very significant one, and to do it with a very close partner in Vietnam has special significance.
Definitely. Let's talk about this sort of a call that the Prime Minister made, apart from the fact that India has been contributing for some time to enhancing the overall security and particularly maritime security of Vietnam. How do you see these $2 lines of credit amounting to $300 million? Do you think it's an incremental step that will help Vietnam shore up its defenses even further in terms of the challenges that it faces from China there?
You know, we have a very comprehensive dialogue with the Vietnamese, and part of that is the defense collaboration dialogue. And this has been discussed for some time, and I'm so happy and pleased that they have reached understanding at this visit to take that to the next level. We already have collaboration in terms of ship visits, collaborations in terms of some exchanges between the defense forces. Now there is talk not only of defense production, but also in the maritime defense domain. What this means is that the kind of collaboration that we have on the western side of India, in our extended neighborhood in the west with many countries, and which we've also developed with certain countries in the ASEAN, is now going to get into the South China Sea region as well. And this would be very significant. As you know, we already have very close partnerships with other countries in the region, with Indonesia in the south, with the Philippines further east of the South China Sea, and of course, as you go further into the East China Sea with Japan and Korea. So what we are seeing today is that the web of relations that India is developing, particularly in the maritime domain, as you know, Prime Minister has said that we must have a free and open Indo-Pacific region, and that there must be freedom of navigation, and it must be considered global commons for the South China Sea, this is a significant step forward.
Mm-hmm. And how has the message of delivered by India been delivered as well when we see that this joint inauguration of a military facility, a software park, an army software park in Vietnam that India has helped bring up?
Well, both countries have strengths in the IT sector. The Vietnamese, as you know, have emerged as a very dominant partner in the ASEAN region on IT-enabled services, business processing, and are now going up the value chain. So this collaboration between India and Vietnam, which will bring about greater cooperation between the two sides, bring about cooperation between the two sides to jointly work on various projects, bring about technology and innovation is a significant step. The other significance of this is that it's with the university, which has a very strong army component of the Vietnamese side, and therefore this is going to leverage a certain segment of the Vietnamese polity and economy in that particular endeavor, a joint endeavor, as I might say.
Okay, let's talk about trade as well. It's about $15 billion between the two countries. Slight imbalance because of the kind of trade pact that we have with ASEAN, where perhaps, although the call today was given by Prime Minister Modi that it should be renegotiated, reworked soon, but perhaps I think at another forum, the Vietnamese Prime Minister said that perhaps there could be a separate trade pact between India and Vietnam at a bilateral level.
As you know, we have an India-ASEAN FTA.
Yes.
And it's a very constructive and very good document. It has led to significant increase in trade volumes, and it has led to great advantages to the ASEAN partners. With some of the ASEAN countries, we also have separate bilateral FTAs. This has been the practice for some time, and it would also make sense because, as you know, the review of the India-ASEAN FTA is not due for another 2 years almost. And so if we can work out, if we can do an early harvest of the low-hanging fruit, so to say, because if you notice what has happened in the last couple of years is that while Vietnamese exports have grown significantly, the Indian exports have not kept pace. And therefore, it is necessary to have a relook at that. Secondly, I think the nature of value chains have also changed, and therefore the supply chains that we are engaged with the Vietnamese and the ASEAN bloc has also changed significantly, and therefore there is merit in looking at a separate bilateral thing in addition to the ASEAN-wide FTA that we have. So these will definitely add greater volume and will give greater momentum, not only to the trade relations, because in today's context, what it will also link up with is with investment opportunities and transfers of technology.
All right, sounds good. Let's hope that the two countries make progress on these fronts in the coming days as well, and they have made significant progress already as far as strengthening overall ties are concerned, these comprehensive strategic ties that India and Vietnam have. Thank you for joining us, Prasar Bharati.